You are watching NetSoft IT Academy. 905-812-2923. info@netsoftatacademy.com. www.netsoftatacademy.com.
Welcome back. In this video, we are going to talk about one of the most important, but also sometimes confusing topic in Azure, that is pricing and service reliability. We'll break down how Azure charges you, how to estimate your cost, and what SLA really means, and also how Azure services move through their lifecycle. So let's get started. First up, how does Azure pricing actually works? Well, Azure follows a pay-as-you-go model. That means you only pay for what you use. That is, if you use compute, storage, or network bandwidth, etc., you pay for that resource. But that's not the only option, though. There are three main pricing models. The first one is, again, pay-as-you-go, that offers higher flexibility. Here, you are billed per second or minute of resource usage. This is especially great for short-term usage, or maybe you are just creating your sandbox to test some deployments, or maybe for any unpredictable workloads. So in short, if you cannot commit for multiple years of usage and you just want to test an environment, well, you can go pay as you go. The next technique or the next model is reserved instances. Here, you commit for multiple years, maybe 1, 2, maybe 3 years. And in return, well, you get big discounts. But the point to remember, when you commit for 3 years, you have to pay for 3 years. You cannot stop using your resource in mid and say, hey, I want my money back. No, you reserve the instance. And that is why you're also getting big discounts. The next model is spot pricing. Well, this is the cheapest option, but it comes with a catch, a very big catch, I will say. Your resources can be evicted when Azure actually needs the capacity for someone else, or maybe someone who's paying proper price for it. Well, the spot pricing is still ideal for non-critical environment or non-critical batch jobs. Think about it in this way, that there is a parking facility and the traffic is too low. There are some parkings which nobody wants. Well, that organization can give you a spot in that parking facility for very cheap rates. But you will also sign a contract that the organization can take away your parking spot at any time when a proper customer comes in paying the full price. That is your spot pricing. Now that you know how Azure charges, how do you track and control your spending then? Well, Azure provides a tool called Cost Management plus Billing. You can find this on the portal. Now, with it, you can set budgets to avoid overspending. This will be your hard cap on total expense. Plus, you can use cost analysis to see where the money is actually going. Which department is using how much money, let's say. Or you can also try the Azure Pricing Calculator to estimate the cost before even deploying anything in production. You can find all of these inside your Azure portal under the cost management section. Remember, the pricing calculator is just a web application, but I will say it is very important as a tool to use it before even creating a proof of concept. Now let's talk about Service Level Agreement, or SLA. Well, the SLA is Microsoft's guarantee for uptime for a given service at a particular interval of time. For example, Azure virtual machines might have an SLA of 99.9% uptime. On the other hand, Azure SQL database might go up to 99.99%. What does that mean? Well, 99.9% and 99.99 is pretty close, right? Well, not really. Here in IT production environment, 99.9% uptime is roughly 43 minutes of downtime per month. Yes, 43 minutes of downtime sounds quite a short time in some cases, but in most critical environment, well, 43 minutes is too much. They will lose millions in this time. And on the other hand, 99.99% uptime is about 4.5 minutes of downtime. Here, SLAs are a big deal when designing high availability architecture for your organization. Now, like any product, Azure services go through a lifecycle as well. Well, the first thing you will see in some of the services is a word written in a bracket. The word is preview. Well, whenever you see preview in front of any service, that means the feature is available but not fully supported yet. So you must use it with caution, especially for your critical infrastructure. Then you will see GA, that is general availability. Well, this means the feature is fully released, stable, and supported. So you can go ahead and use it in live production or critical environment. Then you will also see sometimes a word written in front of a service called retirement. Well, it is obvious. Here, Microsoft will eventually retire the old services or features. Well, you will get advance notice though. This actually matters because using a preview service in production could be, again, risky. No SLA is actually granted, and things might change. So make sure to use the environment which is stable for a critical deployment. Now, let's quickly look at Azure Pricing Calculator and create our demo environment to see how much it will cost. Again, it is just a kind of a rough estimate, because in real production environment, you may end up using more resource, but it is actually a perfect start to create your environment. All right, so we are back to Azure portal. Now, what if you don't even have Azure account? Or if you have the Azure account, you never subscribe to any subscription. Or even if you have subscription, you don't want to spend money on just some demos, or you just want to test how much it will cost. Well, if you're unsure how much your deployment might cost, well, the solution is Azure Pricing or Price Calculator. So just head to your browser and type Azure Cost Calculator. It will take you to a web application by Microsoft called Pricing Calculator, which looks like this. Now here, Microsoft gives you a well laid out structure with all the service categories and the respective services on the right hand side. This is where you create your environment. Right now, as you can see, my environment is empty. My estimate is not even there. So let's decide to what do we want to create. Let's create a simple virtual machine. Okay, so I will go to then compute and select virtual machines, add to estimate. Done, it's added. Now this is where I will enter all the information as per best of my knowledge, because things can change in the future as well. So whatever your scenario is, put the equivalent configuration over here. So let's say I want to deploy it in Canada Central, and it will be a Windows machine, operating system only. And the tier, I will select standard. Category, I want a kind of a graphic card enabled unit. So I want GPU as well. Now, which series you want? Remember, every series will give you different configuration. Let's select randomly at this point. I want this one. Now look carefully, it will give me 6 CPUs, 112 GB RAM,
That is more than enough, I will say. So I'll select that. Now, how many machines you want? I just want one machine. And how long you might run it. Again, approximate. You can go for hours, days, and months. I will just say only for 1 month, let's say. Okay. Now, do you want pay as you go, or do you want to reserve it for 3 years to get good discounts? Well, I want the maximum cost, let's say, because other than that, you will save something. I'll go with pay as you go. No discounts. Do you already have the license, or do you want it? I will say license included. Okay, so the cost will be $2,658.66 per month. Now let's add disk as well. Why not? We need storage. So I want the best of the best, higher speed premium SSD V2. How much data you want to store? 1 gigabits is nothing. I want at least a terabyte, so I'll just go with 1,000 roughly. How many disks you need? Just one. And how long you will use it? Full 1 month. Continuous, non-stop. What performance? Default performance is fine, but if you want to put and dial down your performance metrics as well, you can. That is enough. Now, let's talk about bandwidth, because my machine might also use network bandwidth. So I'll say I want inter-region. That is, the traffic will flow within the region itself, Canada Central, and destination will be, again, let's say, Canada East, let's say, not that far. How much outbound data transfer you will have? At least 500 GB, let's say. Okay, so this is my total cost. What do you have to pay upfront? Nothing. It's pay as you go. So you can start with 0, but 1 month in, you have to pay this much money to run this setup. How about I go with 3 years of saving plans, and I'll go with upfront. Okay, so for 3 years, it is 47,068, but it is for 3 years. Okay, upfront. Monthly cost will be 299.71. That is a lot of, that's a big difference. Like $299 per month. 47% of discount. So this is how things can change. If I go back to pay as you go, well, 2,756 monthly. Now you know how to check your environment. So I actually encourage you to just go to Pricing Calculator and create your own environment. Remember, this is just a tip. Don't start with randomly selecting your resources. No, try to first create a simple architecture. Whether you need a network, then do you need storage, do you need machine? First create a rough structure and then emulate it here, and then check the total cost.
Well, here are some quick tips to keep your cost under control. Well, you should shut down unused virtual machines when you don't even want to run anything critical on it. Well, if your machines are running day and night, well, you are paying for every second. So when they are not in use, shut them down, or at least automate the shutdown process. Then you can also set up budgets and alerts. You should use auto-scaling where possible. With auto-scaling, you will pay as low as possible for a service, but when you demand performance, yes, it will scale up to cater towards your demand. Of course, when it will scale up, you will pay more, but you will only pay for that short duration of scaling. When it scaled down, again, you come back to your previous invoice strategy. Or you can also use the right region. Yes, pricing can be changed, or pricing can vary by location. So you should regularly look for a cost analysis dashboard and Azure portal. Here you can find that how much you're paying for a specific department or specific use case. Then you can pinpoint that department and reduce the usage to save some more money. Well, that's a wrap on Azure pricing and SLA, and also some service lifecycle understanding. Remember, understanding these basic concepts can help you to build smarter, more cost-effective solutions in the cloud. In the next video, we will explore the Azure management tools and portals. So don't forget to like it, subscribe this channel, and hit that notification bell icon. I will see you in the next video. Until then, take care.
Thank you for watching NetSoft IT Academy. 905-812-2923. info@netsoftatacademy.com. www.netsoftatacademy.com.